So what can you tell us? I understand that you saw the interview that we did with Michael Joy, and we
Yes.
talked about, there being a lawsuit and all,
Hmm.
and there was some confusion because he had that morning he had learned that the other film was using facial recognition scans or something, and he really didn't have all the details, and he said that would be something you would know more about. So we have you, so we're going to ask you if you can
Yeah.
tell us what that means, and
I'll,
why it's such an issue right now.
I'll tell you, they better not be using our scans because I did hear somebody say that. They better not be using them because they have no right to use our faces. We never signed off on that. Here's the thing, we own our faces. We're not telling anybody we own the movie. Some people are like, oh, they're going after everybody, they think they own the movie. We don't think we own the movie. We know we don't. Amazon owns the movie, and they bought it from MGM. We own our images, and we never signed off, ever signed off, even to MGM, Hamdale, not anyone, that our faces would ever be able to be used for any kind of merchandising. That was never a thing at the time we were filming.
Hmm.
And so for anyone to think that they have the right, like Steve Walsh just kept selling our images and telling the vendors, well, I've got to check back with the cast. I have to approve these images with them. He was literally lying to them, saying that he was in working with us and that he had the right to use our images. He doesn't. And so if our images show up in this movie, we're going to even have more of an issue. So we told him that he had to stop. This all started when this fellow who had a t-shirt company, we sent him a cease and desist letter, stop selling our images. We've been sending them out to all the vendors that Steve Walsh has been working with. So he turned around and put $1 million lawsuit on me and then $1 million lawsuit on the group. He has since had to pull those away because there's no way he can sue us. We've done nothing wrong. And our cease and desist were an absolute right of ours to do because we had to tell the people to stop selling our images and that Steve Walsh was doing the wrong thing. And I've since heard many stories about the things that he has now done. It blows my mind. And the things that he has said about owning Return of the Living Dead. He's going to take over the whole franchise. And I think he even did a screening at a big theater in Los Angeles, stating to them that he owned the rights and was able to collect money from that as well. So every time you
Wow.
see Living Dead media on merchandise, on all of these things, that's not our business, and I don't believe he has the rights to all of that, but he definitely does not have the rights to our faces. But the facial recognition part of it is we Tony Gardner did Return of the Living Dead, and we did a convention with him in Burbank. I need to probably call Tony. We did a convention in Burbank, Monsterpalooza, where Tony said, "Hey, let's scan your images and let's do toys. Let's, start making some dolls and doing some stuff with it." And then we just heard that there would be this facial recognition thing of our images being used on Walsh's film, which we're all going, what? And can't do that. And then, but our concern is that Tony's the one who took these images. So we're hoping and praying that Tony has not taken our images and are using them over with Walt,
Mm.
with the enemy, because we know
Yeah.
he's working with him, and he did just bring out a doll of Tom Matthews, and it was like this perfect image of Tom's face and ears and everything, but it was as a Freddy doll. So we saw that, and we're all a little uptight
Oh, wow.
and nervous as to what the heck is going on and who's betraying us and who isn't betraying us. So I think we do need to have a conversation.
Because technically he may have done
Yes.
it and not even realized. Because there's a lot of confusion out there with the sequels. Because there's two of them happening at the same time. Uh,
Right.
there was the trailer that was released without any movie, I believe at that point being shot, and now
Yeah.
they just announced that that one is now going to be, instead of Christmas this year, it's going to be November next year.
Yeah.
And at the same time, Trash's Revenge I think still on IMDb says December 8th of this year, and Michael said no, it's not going to be this year. That's going to be next year.
Yeah.
And I even talked to some vendors um, who made some fan art of you guys. I bought that. That's one of the things I have hanging on my wall. And he talked to you guys about the sequel, and he thought he was talking to you. I think he was talking to Russo,
Yeah.
and thought he was talking to Russo about Walsh's sequel because that was the only one he was aware of.
Yeah.
Didn't know there was a Trash's Revenge, which is what he was talking about. And then I'm like, no, I know Trash's Revenge because I'm involved in Trash's Revenge. I said, at least I hope I am. It better not be a scam because, I paid money. And I look pretty foolish out there by myself shooting a video next to a dumpster. Uh,
Well,
so I guess I've done crazier things, but it wouldn't actually surprise me if with all the confusion going on, somebody thought they were like working with you guys and then found out he is working, for Walsh and not even realize it.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a mess.
It's a huge mess. We're all just, so upset about it. And we've got Larry Zerner, who's our attorney, who is also in Friday the 13th. But he's now an attorney. And we don't have our court date until September 11th, 2028. That's how much
wow.
time this guy has to just keep messing with us and keep doing stuff. But that's how it is in California. It's just the court system is so backed up. So we'll have to see what happens. But Tony knows that, we worked with Tony on Return of the Living Dead, and Tony knows us very well, but he is working with Steve Walsh as well. And I think that's the only reason why that Christmas tree thing looked halfway decent was because Tony Gardner was working on it and was probably telling Steve Walsh, this is what you got to do, So and he also is supposed to work on Trash's Revenge, but that's the thing. You can't tell people they can't work on something because they need to make money. Everybody's got to work, and here in Los Angeles right now, films are far and few between. It's a rough go. My husband's in New Jersey working films back to back because that's where the film business is. So we don't have a grudge against anybody wanting to just work. He's got to work. He's got a family to take care of and a business. So that's fine. We just are hoping that our images are not being used on Walsh's film, which would really be a bigger problem than we already have. We already have a big problem right now with our court hearing coming up in 3 years.
I'm very curious as to when this all first started with the $1 million lawsuits.
Yeah.
Why did Tina get singled out away from the group? Why was there one against you and then one against everybody else?
Because I'm the one doing the dirty work.
Oh, okay.
I'm the one sending it. I don't care. He's doing wrong. I'll send out the cease and desist. I'm fine with that. And I kept writing to people going, no, you don't understand. He goes, no, you have to deal with Steve Walsh. They were telling me I had to go back and deal with Steve Walsh. They go, no, we have the right. Steve Walsh told us to. Well, your problem was with Steve Walsh, not with us, the vendor. I said, no, our problem is with you. You're not listening. You're selling our faces. It doesn't matter. Steve Walsh told you it was okay. It's not okay. It's like, I can't tell you how many times there was this whole triangle that these vendors are just like, I'm sure Steve Walsh was probably telling them, and I did hear this, to tell Beverly to call me, I'll take care of it, just to like throw it all off the
Well, I saw something online a year ago or so when this first seemed to start.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was him specifically who posted it or something, but he said that just because they're in a movie doesn't give them the rights to their likenesses. And
yes, it does.
that was the part that I didn't get, because if he's saying, okay, they do not have the right to their own images, I'm like, okay, then how the hell do you have rights to their images if they don't? Because if anybody should, it would be them. So now here's another question that I guess would be posed. If Amazon now owns the rights to Return of the Living Dead, how is this other Return of the Living Dead being able to be made at all? I mean,
That's a great question. Here's what we think is going on. So Amazon, big company, buys MGM Library. I don't think they're paying attention to what's going on because we're not even getting our residuals. As soon as they purchased, we're now having to go to SAG and go, hey, guys, we're not getting our residuals again for Return of the Living Dead, but it's playing in all of these different places. So I think we're on like year 2 or 3 of not getting it. So wrote to SAG. I think Larry Zerner has contacted Amazon's attorneys to let them know that, hey, you guys got to pay attention here. This movie is being, used in every which way and in all directions. So it's just going to be now again a matter of time before it all gets looked at and reviewed and taken care of. But I just think Amazon's not paying attention. They've got so much going on. They're just missing the boat on this. And once they find out, I think it's going to be a big deal. And it's going to be, and you know what? It happened before with George Romero and Return of the Living Dead and John Russo and that whole thing. So it's like history is repeating itself here.
That's true.
But the whole Walsh thing, I don't know how that's going to play out, how he's going to, get through this. I know his dad was an attorney. His brother, I believe, is an attorney. And I know that anybody who speaks out against Walsh gets a threatening letter. He's just big on sending out threatening letters to everybody.
John, get ready. Would you be willing to come back on and go head to head with him?
With Steve Walsh?
Yeah, if we got him on.
I'll through my computer and come after. No, and I'm not a violent person. I will never speak to that person. I will.
Okay.
Yeah, that won't work.
Okay, see.
I think from what I'm hearing from other people, I don't think our personalities will jive. He's a bad person. He's a bad person. He's doing something wrong. He knows he's doing something wrong, and he's doing it anyway.
If all of these, because he had the lawsuit fell apart. He had the site up, the site had to come down. So it would appear he does not have the rights to anything. I guess we're not going to know for sure until September 11th, 2028.
2028. Los Angeles courts. I keep putting this stuff. I don't keep, but I will keep putting it up on my page, on the Facebook page, as to what is happening. And I'll give you the court number if you want to see if you can research it, whatever you want to do. But yeah, it's all happening and we mean it.